All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're here to talk more about professional development for master's students at Brown University. I have some wonderful folks that I want to go ahead and introduce you to on the next slide. I'll kick things off since I'm already unmuted and talking. My name is Victoria Bray. I'm the Associate Director of Graduate Enrollment here at Brown University, and I'm here to answer any questions you have about the application process, enrolling at Brown, and I can connect you with more resources across the university. Komal, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Komal Shah. I'm the Associate Director for Career Services and Professional Development, and I help with the strategy planning for our team as well as support students in their career service, in their professional development. And I'll pass it on to Amanda.
Hi, everyone. My name's Amanda. I'm the newest career counselor to join the career services team here at Brown. I will be responsible for supporting workshops and one-on-one sessions with students and much more.
Awesome. David, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is David. I'm a second year master's student here at Brown with getting a degree in biotechnology. And I do work as a graduate assistant under Kamal and Amanda as well at the School of Professional Studies and master's programs.
Fantastic. So tons of great resources for your questions. If you want to go to the next slide, we have an agenda. I want to go over sort of what to expect for the day. We have a great program for you. We're going to talk about jobs on campus. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We have an activity for you to do. And then, of course, we're here to answer your questions. We're going to use the Q&A on your Zoom toolbar to answer those questions. So as they come in, as they come up, feel free to add them there. It's right at the bottom, that little Q&A function. We'll answer them throughout the session, but then we'll also save some for the end for the panel. You've got a couple folks, including a current student, to ask questions of, so a really great opportunity to ask those questions and get answers. If we want to go to the next slide, I will hand things over to Komal.
All right. Well, just to get started, a lot of you might have a question about, all right, well, you're coming on to Brown, on Brown's campus. What can I do at Brown? How can I start working immediately? And so on-campus jobs is one of those options that you can pursue while you are at Brown. If you go on to the next slide, you can get a quick idea of what that means. So student employment on campus can be in multiple different places. That could be dining, in a bookstore, maybe working as a research assistant or teaching assistant, or even as a student assistant like David that we have here today. So many different departments require assistance for administrative work, and that's where you would be helping out. So one of those on-campus job opportunities is through student employment on campus. It is open to all Brown University students. This includes international students. The only restriction is that international students will have a limit of 20 hours per week. You cannot work beyond the 20 hours. Along with that, you will also need to submit your I-9 form, and then SSN is required, of course, as international students. You might not have this already, but you will be working with the International Student Office to have that created and generated for you as soon as possible. These are hourly positions. They do not waive any of your tuition fees. You will still be paying for the classes you will be taking. And all of these positions are posted on the Brown University Workday site. We also have a student employment office that is part of the university human resources that posts a lot of these opportunities for you to inform you about what opportunities are available. So here you can see the email shared student_employment at Brown, where you can find or reach out to them for any additional questions you might have about compensation, I-9, W-2 documentation. All right, going to the next slide. You could also just building it out a little further, what do some of these mean? Teaching assistant is where you would assist the teachers in teaching courses. This could include grading or helping out in a lab. This could also be, having open office hours, answering student questions. You also have a research assistant position, assisting in a specific research that is led by a professor at a specific department, and that could include data analysis, and then graduate assistant as well, which could be, working, as I mentioned earlier, working in different departments for administrative work. All right. And David, do you want to share a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually have two jobs on campus. One is a graduate assistant and the other is a teaching assistant. I already mentioned the graduate assistant, so I can talk a bit about that first. So basically my job with School of Professional Studies and the master's programs is I'm a resume and cover letter reviewer. So I help master's students refine their resumes and cover letters, and even their LinkedIn profiles. But one thing that I absolutely love about the role is Komal, Caitlin, and Amanda have given me the ability to kind of professionally develop within the role. And so I get to host webinars. I hosted one by myself the other day. That was pretty cool. I've gotten to speak in front of the SPS team and give a presentation basically. And I've also got to create my own events and design my own events, which have actually been implemented within the school. So it's really, really cool to kind of see some of these things come to fruition. And one thing that always scares me, or I feel like scares a lot of people, is the ability to public speak, right? And so when I came to Brown, I wanted to engage in things that would allow me to practice my public speaking skills, like this for one, but also within my role as a graduate assistant. I've been given the ability to be able to do that. For teaching assistantship, I basically just work by a professor for one of my classes, biotechnology and industry. And then just in addition to grading things and helping students and doing administrative tasks, I've also been given the ability to give guest lecture on something that I really like, that I'm passionate about. I'm an attorney. I love patent law. And so in my class, I got to give an hour-long lecture on patent law, which is pretty cool. And I've gotten to create my own assignments. So there's a lot of cool things to be able to do and professionally develop within Brown.
Great. Let's go to the next slide. So along with that, some of you very high achieving students might be, well, I don't want to get a job after I graduate. I want to start my own company. And so we do have the Nessa Center for Entrepreneurship, where you do get that training, resources, and opportunities to kind of ideate, build on the idea or the business idea that you're thinking about. You would be able to go and look at their website through entrepreneurship.brown.edu that covers all of those things related to how would you be working, collaborating with students from different backgrounds. There will be quite a few workshops. There's also mentoring programs where you'll be able to work with a mentor to help ideate your startup, answer questions about funding. There's also a lot of different entrepreneurs within the community that will help answer your questions, connect you to various different other entrepreneurs that are working on similar projects. They will support you in different research initiatives that you might have as well, and support you in a lot of different areas that you might need to get started, especially for entrepreneurship, because it can be so complex, and the Nelson Center kind of breaks it down for you in terms of how to go about it and how to get started. So let's move on to the next slide with the mini master's class. So I want all of you to kind of pull out your phones, or make sure you have the camera on. I'm going to now share my screen. So if we could stop sharing the screen, and I also need screen sharing permissions. So be doing a mini class where I invite you to engage. There's a lot of fun questions that I'll be asking. I should be able to start sharing. I don't have screen share access. Let's see. Oh, still don't have screen sharing access. All right, I finally have screen sharing access. All right, can everyone see my screen? Yes, all right, great. So with your phone, scan that QR code. I'm also sharing a link in the chat box that you can connect to. There it is. Victoria, thank you for sharing that link. So if you cannot join through the QR code, there is a link as well that you can use to connect in this. I will give all of you a few more minutes. If you've joined, just click on that thumbs up button so I know a lot of you have joined. I see that we have quite a few participants. So if I see a higher number over here, around 50, then maybe I'm going to get started. Okay. One more minute for you to join. And then we'll get started with doing a test. If you cannot join through the QR code, just use the link shared in the chat box, and that will get you there. Okay, I'm going to get started because there's a lot of questions I have and a lot of engagement. All right. So this is just a test question. Which one would you choose? Unlimited money or unlimited time? Let's see what you have to say. Unlimited money or unlimited time? Which one would you choose? And for those who've already answered, maybe in the chat box, say why. Why would you pick this? Why would you pick the option you picked right now? Let's see if we can see some engagement in the chat box. Okay. I don't see anything, and that's okay. I see that the unlimited time is the winner here. Clearly, a lot of you would prefer having unlimited time compared to unlimited money. Great. With unlimited time, you can make unlimited money. Great. That's a good reason. You can have everything you have with unlimited time. That also makes sense. Money will allow me to gain resources to make most of my life, to make the most of my life. That's great. Without time, life would be meaningless. I agree. All right, so we'll move on to the next question, which is also a test question. Would you travel back in time or travel to the future? Which one would you prefer? Travel to the future, travel back in time? And then again, if you've answered the question, put it in the chat box. Why did you pick the choice that you did? All right, let's see. Travel to the future. Why? Why would you want to travel to the future? To fix the travel back in time to fix the errors I made. I get that. Absolutely, completely true. Change some of the decisions you made. Travel to the future because I have no regrets in the past. That's great. I love technology. I want to see how much technology will evolve. Amazing. To the future because past doesn't exist to me. That's good too. Travel back in time to relive the best. I lost that. The best moments of my life. All right, great answers. And thank you for responding. The travel to the future again is a winner here, but that's great. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts here. All right, moving more towards Brown, and why are you considering a master's degree? I would like to know all of from all of you, why is it that you're considering a master's degree? All of you probably have a bachelor's degree already. What's making you consider a master's degree? This might be a good time for you to reflect as well. If a master's degree is, going to take you to where you want to be. Here, I can see I am into cybersecurity, to become better in my FI. I don't know what FI means, but hopefully to become better job opportunities, entrepreneurship, connections, get practical knowledge, specialization, research advancement, change kids' lives. Amazing. That's so sweet. That's so nice. For med school, lab work, to serve better, develop technical skills. Oh my gosh, this just keeps growing. But all in all, it is to increase your skills, network, collaborate, and make the world a better place. So let's go on to the second question, why you're all here today. Why are you considering Brown University? What is the differentiator for you in terms of applying to Brown University? Yes, you're thinking about a master's degree, but why Brown? Let's see what we have here. A lot of answers in terms of whether because it's an Ivy League education that will open doors for your professional journey, because it has an extensive alumni network, because the professors and faculty at Brown are leaders in their fields, or Brown is engaged in cutting-edge research projects as well as community initiatives. I love that in the chat box, there's more engagement, that cutting edge research, love biotechnology, faculty are very accommodated, more chance to get better performer tasks and evidence-based performance. Great, I see a lot of you have the Ivy League, obviously Ivy League education, the professors and the cutting edge research all have tied, and the extensive alumni network is a little lower, but not too far. So thank you for engaging in this too. Let me kind of cover a few areas of what we provide in terms of career services and professional development, right? All of you are coming into Brown or considering a master's degree at Brown. And the reason being, all of you probably want to get a job once you graduate or pursue a PhD once you graduate. What we help with is through career exploration, in terms of whether or not you want to pursue a PhD, if you want to go into research, as well as industry exploration. There are so many industries out there, more than 20 industries. And when I say that, that's tech, that's finance, there's banking, there's environmental science, there's education, there's data science, public health. We have so many programs here at Brown, especially the master's programs, where you can work and kind of learn about what those different industries are. And we, as career services professionals, help you identify which would be the best one for you. It's not that if you pursue data science, you just can go into one industry. Data science is so broad, you can apply to many different industries, and we kind of help you narrow down that industry related to what you're interested in going into. And we do all of that through one-on-one career advising. So the next question here is, career services can help you with identifying skills relevant to the job or internship, or to help you market your skills and qualifications to employers better. Which one do you think career services can help you with? So let's see who's winning. So we have the market your skills and qualifications as the winner right now. Let's see if Identifying skills is ticking slowly up there, but marketing the skills is just still winning. Let me see in the chat box until then. All right, kind of from, yes, Benjamin, I agree, it's both. It is both. Career services can help you, especially if you're early in your career. You might not be aware of what skills would be relevant to the jobs or internships that you're planning to apply for. We will help you identify those skills. Like, what could you use for a specific area that you want to go into, or a job or internship that you want to go into. We do also, for those who are still early career or mid-career level, we can help you market your skills and qualifications to employers better. And that could also mean for some of you students here who might be applying for the professional or executive master's programs, how would you be able to market your skills and qualifications to the audience that you're looking to attract? So we will help you with all of those services in terms of building your resumes, improving your LinkedIn profile, all of those things. So I kind of wanted to put the slide up here as well, because I want you to know, in terms of applying for a job or internship, you need to know what the audience is looking at. The audience in this context is the recruiter. The recruiter's preference are for them to know as to why are you interested in this industry or in this field. They also want to know whether or not your skills and qualifications apply to or align with the job that you're applying to. And then finally, this is another big thing they look at, whether or not you have a good personality fit for the team or the company culture that you're applying to. These are the things that the recruiters look for when they are looking at and considering a candidate for a job or internship. So what do you expect Master's Career Services to do? Go ahead and select the option that you think is the thing that you think the services that Master's Career Services will provide for you. So I see one is to conduct mock interviews. We have one for having a career readiness course, host employer events, present career workshops, review resumes and cover letters. We see the winner here is host employer events. That's good to see. We have only one mock career interview, or a few, not one, but a few, but a lower percentage there. Career workshops is pretty popular there too. Okay, majority of you are hosting employer events, which is great because we do host employer events. There's a system we use, Handshake. Some of you might be familiar with it or not, but Handshake is a really great tool for us to introduce employers to you and you to employers as well. It works both ways, right? So we help bring in employers to campus and kind of build workshops and events around that, but also present career workshops, and that could be on many different topics. And Amanda will get to share some of those workshop type titles and topics. Yes, it's all. I know in the chat box, all of you have written all. I agree. It's all of these things. We do all of them. So in the Master's Career Services, our team, our goal is to learn about you, your career goals, and what impact you want to make. With that, we would kind of help you assess the role, whether or not the role is a good fit for you, whether or not you meet the qualifications the employers are looking for. And then finally, guide you in all of your application process. And that could be multiple different things, or maybe one thing. And that could include resume cover letter reviews, interview prep through the mock interviews that all of you selected, personal branding, networking tactics, as well as when you get the offer, which is salary negotiation. Some lucky folks here on our webinar today, you might be getting 2 job offers. So we kind of help you assess which job offer would be the best one for you, and then kind of help you make that decision. So for example, now think about it in this way. If you were applying for a job, which resume would be more successful in landing you an interview? A general resume that is applicable to all roles, or an industry resume tailored to the position? Let's see which one is the winner. Just see. We have a few respondents. So let's see, we have a few general resumes. Why? Industry resume. Why? Why does an industry resume win here? Why do you think it's going to be successful in landing you an interview? We have a few general resumes too. So for the ones who've selected general resumes, why do you think a general resume would be more successful in landing you an interview? Let's see if we can see it in the chat box. All right, so I see industry resume would be more specific and easier for the recruiter to spot us because it's tailored to the job position, tailored to meet industrial needs and experiences. Every job has specific requirements. All right, so the winner here is industry resume, and for all of those who selected industry resume are correct, because a tailored, a job-specific resume is going to be the winner, because you're mentioning all of those skills and qualifications and keywords for the position that you're applying for. A general resume tends to be not very successful because you've kind of covered a lot of different things, which is good in a way, but it's not telling the recruiter why you are the best fit for that position, and why, or whether or not you have those skills and qualifications for that specific position that you're applying for. So whenever and wherever you are applying, always tailor your resume to the job that you're applying to. All right, finally, I want you to do this practice while we are here. You have a career services team. We always want you to get a takeaway from this session. Try to rewrite this bullet point. I was responsible for communicating with a team. Rewrite this bullet point to make it stronger. If you have this resume on your, this bullet point on your resume, how would you improve it? Let's see what you can do in a few minutes that we have with us. I was responsible for communicating with the team. And since David is our resume reviewer, I'm actually going to ask him to give his input as well.
So I'll let these trickle in for a bit, and then I can kind of talk about how I would rewrite this sentence.
Great. That would be great. I'm just reading through some of these. I communicated with the team, communicated with multiple stakeholders, coordinated interpersonal style, communication with interdisciplinary peers, effective communication team members. I'm an expert in interpersonal communication. All right, I'm going to ask David, I'm going to ask you, I'll keep scrolling, but I'm going to ask you to rewrite this bullet point, and feel free to share it in the chat box as well for students.
Yeah, absolutely. So you always want to stay away from personal pronouns when you're writing a bullet point on your resume. So I've seen a lot of people say I, so I would take that away and instead start with an action verb. And I actually saw someone posted something, an action verb that I absolutely love and still use on my resume to this day, which is spearheaded. And you could say something like, instead of I was responsible for communicating with the team, spearheaded communication with multiple team members or interdisciplinary team members. You want to highlight not just the action verb, but also the task that you were doing, the communicating with the team. And I think it would also be a great idea to add some sort of reasoning, context, or result here too. So in what ways were you communicating with the team? You could add that in there. Did the communication lead to something different? The more you flesh out a bullet point, the better it's going to be for reviewers to look at it and understand what you did exactly and be able to ask about it during an interview.
Great. Thank you so much, David. All right, and finally, a 2x2 grid for all of you. In terms of which one do you think will have maximum effort and maximum impact, but also which one of these would lie in this grid here that we have in front of you, right? Do you think resumes need, where do you think it would be in terms of impact and effort you need to put in? What do you think about interview prep, and where do you think interview prep is in terms of effort and impact? Same with networking and analyzing the job description. So I'm going to see some of these here. We can see some answers came in, which is, oh, it keeps moving, but here we see all of these are in the top 2 quadrants for impact, which is the analyzing the job description. If you look at networking seems to be kind of all over the place, but not in this lower quadrant here. So that's interesting. Let's see what interview prep. Interview prep is, again, on the top quadrant. And then finally, resume. We have one that comes to the lower section, but most of the other ones are, again, on the top 2, and then here few on this bottom right quadrant as well. So yes, a lot of these do need effort. The easier effort things that you could do is writing and revising your resume, as well as networking. Interview prep is more effort and high impact as well. And then finally, analyzing the job description. This is actually less effort, but very high impact. So that's one of the things that you need to consider when applying for a job. All right, with that, thank you everyone for participating. This was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let's start with the other slides.
Hi, everyone. We're going to shift gears slightly and speak more specifically about the exact career services that we offer to students and recent alumni. So with that, we can turn to the next slide, please. So the Center for Master's Student Excellence offers career and professional development services, which Kamal mentioned, for all of Brown's early career and executive master's students. Upon enrollment in a master's program at Brown, we highly recommend that students utilize our services proactively so that you can be more successful when it comes to that future job search, interview, and hiring process. As you can see on this slide, students who use our career services are 24% more likely to get job offers. So it's super important to access our services while you have them at Brown. Next slide, please. The Career Services team offers a variety of resources to students. So first off, I'll talk about our one-on-one individualized coaching sessions, which are offered on an ongoing basis throughout the year. These sessions may consist of a resume and cover letter review. So in those appointments, they're 30 minutes each, and we'll review a student's drafted resume or cover letter, and we'll provide suggestions for formatting, writing stronger and more effective bullet points like you just did in that exercise, and tailoring the resume for a specific job description. We also offer career advising, so we provide students with personalized guidance to their career goals. This typically involves the sharing of resources as it relates to networking, professional learning, career exploration, and job searching. We know that it can be an overwhelming time to figure out exactly what path you should go on, especially if you're torn between multiple pathways. So we're happy to be a listening ear and guide you through that process. We also hold mock interviews. So these are typically longer appointments, 50 minutes each, where we'll pose behavioral and common interview questions to students. Students will typically provide us with a job description that they're looking at prior to the appointment, so we can generate some questions to guide the interview. We'll ask the student the interview questions, just like a regular simulated job interview, and we'll provide feedback and ask you to do some reflection on how you think you performed in the interview. We might also share resources to support technical and case interview prep depending on the area of interest. Our team does offer extended evening hours for these services to accommodate students' busy academic and professional schedules. We also offer virtual workshops on a variety of high interest topics. These workshops are held during the fall and spring semesters virtually on Zoom, and they're tailored to the needs of master's students. I'll dive a little bit deeper into our workshop offerings in the next few slides. Next slide, please. In addition to our individualized coaching sessions and virtual workshops, we offer a variety of other career services for our master's student population. Such services may include a Career Launchpad course. So this is a 2-day intensive career course that encompasses all of the career skills needed for practice and use for the job or internship search. The Launchpad includes a mix of lecture-style resources on a variety of topics, as well as easily implementable working sessions so that students will have the opportunity to begin practicing the skills learned, develop job application materials, and receive feedback live from the Career Services team. The Launchpad is typically hosted in the beginning of the fall, spring, or summer semesters, in person or virtually, although I think we are tending to hold them in person because they seem to be a bit more impactful that way. We also offer program-specific events. So occasionally faculty or programs will reach out to our team and ask us to present in the classroom or attend an event specific to their students or programs, so we can tailor some career supports and services to that specific industry, program, or pathway. We have a subscription available to the master's newsletter and resources. It's distributed monthly and it lists upcoming career services, community events, tips, alumni spotlights, and more. We host campus partnership events. We value partnerships between different organizations on campus to meet students' diverse needs. In the coming weeks, for example, we're partnering with Global Brown, OISSS, and the Sheridan Center to offer an event for international students on networking and professional communications, like talking to a recruiter or conducting an informational interview. So that's a great example of how we like to continue those campus partnerships. We also partner with alumni. We help to bridge that connection with alumni through networking, events, and programming. We have resources such as Brown Connect Plus or LinkedIn to help initiate some connections. And that's a great opportunity for you to get some industry insights when you are looking at different companies that you might want to apply for and learn more about. We recently facilitated a STEM alumni panel on campus, which provided our students with some insight from recent graduates who navigated and participated in STEM co-op programs. So that's another example of how we'll try to bridge some connection with alumni, bring them back to campus, and support that networking for students. And then we offer signature events. So we try to do these once a semester or twice a semester. One of them is a resume road trip. So you'll learn the geography of the Brown campus, but the School of Professional Studies is in the Jewelry District, and the main campus is across the river on the hill. And so we will travel up to the main campus, up to you, and we'll hold some open office hours where you can drop by and have your resume, your cover letter, or your LinkedIn reviewed by a member of our team. We also try to do a mock career fair so that hopefully is held the week before the university-wide career fair, and it gives students a sense of the lay of the land and what to expect when they go to that actual career fair. Okay, next slide, please. So we offer monetary support for master's students that are interested in attending professional workshops, conferences, and training in person or virtually. We know that professional learning is very important for master's students and their career and professional development. A student may apply for up to $500 per academic year to cover registration, travel, and any other related expenses through the Master's Student Professional Development Fund. Next slide, please. As mentioned earlier in this presentation, we host a variety of workshops and events in a given semester. On this slide, you'll find some posters for the events that we held this semester. So you'll see LinkedIn Strategies and Secrets, the mock career fair that I talked about earlier, as well as the resume road trip, the Career Launchpad course, which is that multi-day event, and some other basics for supporting your interview, your resume, and occasionally we'll have some topics of interest for a particular semester, like that Consulting Insights series. So some workshops may be fairly standard from semester to semester, but there's also others that are on high interest topics and what we're seeing a need for in the student population. Next slide, please. Okay, so all important information on career services may be found at masterscareers.brown.edu, or you can also scan that QR code on your screen. We recommend bookmarking this website for ease of access. The Master's Career website is a hub where you may find different free career resources tailored to master's students at Brown. So Kamal put the link in the chat if you want to access it that way as well. The site contains some header tabs where you can find resources tailored to different affinities and identities, different career paths. So you might find the consulting career path or the STEM career path, and in that you'll find job board links, professional organizations, sometimes job simulation links, and lots of other different resources tailored to that industry. There's also Build Your Career Skills tab with Brown developed and externally developed one-pagers, templates, samples, and other resources for if you want to create that cover letter, what we recommend your structure should be. We have some sample resumes so you can see what resumes and different section headers might look like for different industries. So it's really a wealth of resources on this website. And as you can see on the homepage, the website also contains a calendar of workshops and events that we have coming up. So upcoming events, you can click on them and then go to Handshake to register. That's where we do all of our registration. All master's students have access to this content. So with that, that's all I've got. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat. And I think we're good. Next slide. Yeah. Any questions? Please put them in the chat.
All right, we've got quite a few questions coming through. The first question has to do with the information that we shared about entrepreneurship at Brown. So the student has a question about while they're studying, can they work on their own individual projects alongside you folks and the folks in the Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are interested, like if you have some ideas or if you're currently working on a project, you can definitely work with the Nelson Center, who will be able to kind of help you build that idea into something more substantial. And then we can also be there to kind of share information about all of the different venture capital firms that fund those type of projects. We have an entire list of startup agencies. We also share information about accelerators. So we'll give you all of those all of that information as well. But I would say the Nelson Center would be a great place to just get started in developing that idea and then kind of building it, making sure it's viable as a business before you come to us and search for some of those other resources in terms of lists for venture capital firms and things like that. But yes, we will work with you every step of the way.
Fantastic. We got a lot of questions about scholarships coming through, so I just want to address that really quickly to the group. The scholarships that our programs offer are very program specific. So depending on what your program of interest is or your intended program is, that will be sort of how your scholarship, if there exists one, is determined. So I would definitely encourage you folks to check out your specific program areas. If you reach out to the master's admission office, we can connect you with those resources. But just to be clear, there's no like full tuition stipend with cost of living position that exists at Brown for master's students. Like a TA-ship or an RA-ship, those positions, like the one David has, are paid on an hourly basis. So they're there to help defray the costs of living, pay bills, things like that, versus being a full tuition stipend plus a paycheck to pay for your cost of living. So that's an important thing to keep in mind as you move through this process. Just make sure that you're looking at your intended program, make sure that you have an idea of what types of scholarships they offer. Some of them offer generous tuition scholarships, but nobody's going to offer one that's the full cost of attendance plus living expenses. Any other questions folks have? There were a number of questions folks submitted in advance of the session, so I'm going to look at those. There's a question in here about how we support students, international students, who intend on returning home after they graduate with their master's degree from Brown in terms of career support.
Yeah, that's a great question. What we help with is in terms of your resume. We will help you kind of build all of your bullet points and strengthen your bullet points for resumes. We have a specific resource for international students that they can use, which are country specific. So whether you want to go back to your home country, we'll kind of point you towards those resources because they're so country specific. And as you know, there are so many different countries, and there are many different countries have different policies and rules about how to apply and what the process is. So I think the best way that we could help you is connecting with some of the alums who are already working in the country that you want to go, like if you are going back to your own country, or we have a few international students who are looking to graduate from Brown, but then go to another country. And so we have country-specific guides, and these guides will give you information about work permits, salary information, job boards and websites that are more popular in their countries, because not all countries will use LinkedIn for posting jobs, or Indeed. Some countries have monster.com that is more popular. Some countries have their own job boards, government-owned job boards as well. So there's so many different websites and resources within that one resource that we have, that we usually point students towards that resource in terms of all of the information they need And that includes the visa information if they're going to another country. If they're going back to their own country, they don't need visas, but we will kind of help them connect with the alumni who are already in their countries through Brown Connect Plus.
Fantastic. So lots of questions on here that aren't necessarily about career and professional development. There's a couple of questions that have to do with the application process. How many pages should the statement of purpose be? I would encourage you again to look at your specific program webpage to see what the application requirements are for your particular program. One of the main differences between applying to an undergraduate institution and applying to graduate school is there isn't like a common set of application requirements. So each program, even within Brown University, is going to have different deadlines, different requirements. So make sure that you're looking at what your specific program requires. And again, if you tell us what program you're interested in, we can point you towards those resources. I'll share our email address in the chat in a moment, but just make sure that you're looking, if you're interested in the MPA program, that you're looking specifically at the MPA program at Brown to get more information about what's required, and we can certainly help guide you through that process. How do you recommend tailoring a resume for grad applications compared to a job application? Great question. Colin, do you want to handle that?
Yes, absolutely. For grad applications, I would include some, definitely if you have research experience, you want to share some of that research experience, especially for a research institution like Brown, that adds a lot of value. But along with that, leadership, extracurricular activities, leadership positions from your undergrad or high school shows that you're involved in various different activities across the campus. So I would include some of those things on the resume as well. And then finally, if you have some specific projects related to the program that you're going into or something closely aligned to it, I would definitely add some of those details in there as well. Professors or, the application reviewers love to see all of those things in terms of volunteering, community engagement. Recruiters don't care about that. So it's different. For recruiters, they just want to know how well aligned you are for that job and for the skills, or whether or not you have the skills for that job. So all of the volunteering, community service, all of that kind of goes away or has a backseat for recruiters. Your projects, your research, and your work experience at this point for recruiters is more important. So those are the main differences for a grad school resume and for a job application resume.
And then we've got that question that you've tagged as typing, Kamal, but do you want to talk a little bit about where students can see more about, research projects that our current students are participating in?
Yes, absolutely. So there will be a few research opportunities shared on Workday, which is the job application portal the Student Employment Office uses, as well as Brown University uses for recruitment. But it's also good to just talk to your professor if you're interested in that subject or in that course. You can talk to your professor that you would want to be more involved. I know, David, if you have some insights about this, because you've gone through this yourself, I would say feel free to share some and give some input about this as well.
Yeah, I would say that's a little more program specific with regards to actual research projects. I know for the biotechnology program, once we were admitted to the program, we were sent a list of maybe like 40 to 60 different labs that were available, biotech focused and looking for students to join them. And once we had that list, we could reach out to the professors, ask more about it, see the summaries they posted. But beforehand, it might be difficult. I mean, you can look on the Brown websites too and see the different departments like pathology, lab medicine, cell biology, neuroscience, like if that's the direction you want to go into and kind of see what labs are available and kind of exist. and see, hopefully, maybe if they would be willing to take students. So you could reach out to them if you got into the program afterwards.
Fantastic. So there's another question about how students should address their experience in the resume, sort of like what is a helpful outline for students applying to graduate school?
I think I just answered, but I'll answer it here too. So if you're organizing your grad school resume, make sure to mention your education first when you're organizing it in terms of the content. You want to share your education first, then talk about some work experience or professional experience, or maybe some projects if you don't have any work experience just yet. Some of the projects you worked on in your undergraduate degree, feel free to share some of those. And then finally, your leadership experience or volunteering or community service experience. And if you've noticed, some grad school applications have awards and honors and other details that you would like to add. You can definitely add some of those things towards the end of the resume as well.
Fantastic. So we're right up at time and we've answered quite a few questions. I really appreciate everybody taking the time, especially our fantastic panelists taking time out of the workday to talk to our prospective students. If you have any questions, I am going to put my email address in the chat. And I'm happy to follow up with any of those sort of program specific questions that folks have. But other than that, have a fantastic rest of your day and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.